View of the 2016 Toyota Avalon. How does this car stack up against my very own 2004 Avalon? And how does it stack up against the legendary Lexus ES 350? I'll see you on the other side of the intro. Hit the subscribe button and let's do this. I'm gonna make this walk around pretty quick. It's windy out here, guys. You can probably see the fog and the mist that's just coming down around the lake. It's not bad conditions, but not the best for recording. I love the styling of this Avalon. I think it's awesome. I think they hit it out of the park. And on the 2019 Avalon, they just kind of made it even more, I don't know. It's more sporty, it's wider and lower. But on the 2019 Avalon, I'll put a picture. They made the grille even larger than this grille, if that's possible. And it is possible because they did it. But I think the styling on this is great overall. I love the light shape. I love these LED lights in here. The two on the right, it's kind of hard to see. And then of course, I think those would be your parking lights there. I love the chrome. I usually don't like chrome on a car, but on top of this black paint, I think it looks really good. Coming around to the side, these wheels, they look a little small for the size of the vehicle, but I don't mind the style of them. I like them a lot better than the machine finished Lexus ES wheels, and I'll show you a picture of those. Not a big fan of those, but I like these a lot better. These are P215, so pretty skinny by 55, so a lot of travel there, and 17-inch wheels. I think they look great. Let's step back and look at this vehicle from the side profile. Chrome on the handles, chrome around the window. I don't mind it. Usually I don't like it on most vehicles, but it looks pretty good on the Avalon. And maybe I just have a soft spot for the Avalon because I drive the nostalgic 2004 as my daily, but looking at these taillights, I like them a lot. I think they're the best. You know, I can't think of what the 2019 taillights look like, but these look really, really good in my opinion. And again, that chrome looks good on this black paint. Again, this is the XLE. I don't know what that all entails because I don't know my trims of the newer Avalons. I knew the my version was the XL and the XLS. Those are the only two, and I'm sure there are more iterations now over the years. But the dual exhaust looks really good. Wish my car had dual exhaust at 2004. And this is what the car looks like from this rear section here. I think they did a great job with this car. And you know, my car looks like a big box. This car actually has some styling, and it's definitely going to get you a lot better miles per gallon, even though this engine has about 70 more horsepower than mine. And yeah, it's a bigger engine, and you're going to get probably 20% better fuel economy than my 3-liter. Underneath the hood, we have the very, very well-known 3.5-liter V6 that Toyota and Lexus put in a lot of their vehicles. The 2GR FE engine produces about 268 horsepower, and the new version of this car, I believe it has around 300 or 301 horsepower, and I think the Lexus ES says it has, or the 2019 for example, has 302 horsepower, so it's like 1 horsepower more. But I think they did a great job, and I like how everything's nice and black in here, which follows the theme of this black vehicle. Very well done, Toyota. Let's get on the inside of the 2016 Toyota Avalon. First thing I notice, and I'm going to compare this a lot to the Lexus ES because that's what I drive the most, and that the ES is based off this car just a little bit. Materials aren't quite up to the same level, which I wasn't really expecting, but it's just kind of cool to see the difference. The only instance of leather here on the door is right here. The rest, now this is a soft touch plastic here with stitching. I don't mind it, it looks good. A chrome handle here. We have memory seats, which I'm not used to seeing in a whole lot of Toyotas. All automatic windows. It's very nice to have that. These buttons are exactly the same as they are in a Lexus vehicle. Your trunk hatch, your blind spot monitor, which is on the outside. And so right there is a blind spot monitor. Right there is the heated outside mirrors, side mirrors. A large vent here and another one up there. Steering wheel. Very Yeah, it's Lexus-like in terms of where the placement of these things are. Most of the time, these phone controls on a Lexus are going to be over here. And then these buttons a lot of the time are on the other side. Steering wheel, it feels good. It feels actually brand new to me, even though it's a 2016. Cruise control here, your paddle shifters are back here, and they actually feel pretty high quality. I feel a lot of paddle shifters, and most of them don't have that great of materials. Your lights are going to be here, and then your windshield wiper is going to be there. Let's go ahead and fire up this car. Now push button start. We're going to turn the fans down just a little bit, and of course the radio. So pretty simple tachometer and speedometer. And then we're going to press this display button here to see what else we can pull up. Average fuel economy, 27 miles per gallon. What? That's mostly highway. I want to say this car gets about 20 in town and 30 on the highway. Tire pressure, give it some time, that would pop up. Let's see here. So I'm going to keep it on fuel economy so I can give you an idea of what I'm going to get. I like the dash. Now this feels actually like leather. I'm not going to lie. I think this is a leather material. And then down here we have this wood material, which is very subtle, and it's kind of hidden in here, and then you see it again over here above the glove box. But again, leather all the way across. I am impressed with that. This is a large, it doesn't look bad, it's just a big piece of black plastic here. I want to make sure the vents aren't blowing you guys away. Power and volume knob here, tuning knob here, and they feel, the volume one feels very good, but this one feels loose. I don't know if you guys can see, like, I don't know, it just doesn't have the same resistance as the power one, which is kind of sketchy. CD player, then you're going to have your, I guess you could pause live radio. Didn't know you could do that in this car. I think I knew about it in the Lexus, but that's kind of neat. And then just other, you know, you can, it's a touch screen, so I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to play with that. I like this quite a bit. Time, outside temperature. It's finally cooling down, guys. Finally cooling down. It was like 95 on Monday, and Tuesday it was in like low 60s. That's the Midwest for you. Here's your defrost, and it has a dual defrost. What? Interesting. So this is for the rear, and this is for the front. I'm guessing you can have both of them on. Let me know if that's not correct, but that would be my guess. You have a front defrost and a rear defrost, or one of them could be for the mirrors. Just not quite entirely sure. It's not very descriptive. I'm going to turn both of those off. Auto, here's your climate control buttons. Pretty simple, not very detailed, not very high quality feeling, but they are functional. We have this is a pleasant surprise. We have a wireless charger here. The shifter, fairly decent quality, and surrounded by this kind of shiny, glossy plastic here. Heated seats, you press this, you would twist. Make sure the light is off. If you push it down, it's going to lock it into place. Sport modes, I'm not going to play with those today. Very nice cup holders. Then we have leather again. Nice little touch here on the Avalon, or what I call the Avalone, since I have one myself. Inside here we have, it feels like there should be a 12 volt here. There's a cutout for it, but there's not one in this car. So that's kind of unfortunate. At least not a 12 volt there. So, is there really not a 12 volt anywhere in the front? Oh my gosh, my mind just blown. Storage as well as charger. Here is your wireless charger button. Your 12 volt is here. And your USB as well as auxiliary. Now my 2004 Avalon has a 12 volt here, and it has a 12 volt in the box. So I'm just kind of blown away that there's not a second 12 volt here in the front in a car that's 12 years newer. Here's your boxes. I can't really see those buttons. Let me know what they say. Trunk opener. Okay, so that kind of locks the trunk opener, and then something about the tires. Tire pressure reader. Small map pocket / storage pocket here on the door. Up above we have a nice sunroof. Here are your controls for it, obviously, and then we have a sunglasses holder here. garage door openers there, and I like the compass. How's my hair doing? It's a little fuzzy today. I didn't know what to think of it. We have these lights here with all sorts of design on them. Can you see all those lines? That's kind of bizarre. And my hair, guys, I'm looking like a hedgehog, but I got to get out of this awkward stage so I can start, you know, styling it again. No big deal, but I think it's time to get in the back. Getting in the back, you know, I didn't talk about the front seats and the leather quality, but I will now, since it just occurred to me. The quality is good. It's just not very detailed, and the seats are kind of firm, not nearly as soft as Lexus, but it's still pretty good. Definitely above average in my opinion. We have a couple vents back here. This black wood trim, which kind of looks cheesy where it's at. I wish it was something other than just all black. Down here, hey, there's that second 12 volt I was talking about. But, you know, I have two in the front in my 2004. This only has one in the front, one in the back. Seats back here, firm. Very, very good. I have no issues with these seats, and they're very comfortable. I'm 6'1". This seat is too far back. When I was sitting up there, it was too far back for me at 6'1". So imagine this person's 6'5", and I still have good room back here. Now, unfortunately, the back here isn't soft, but I don't care too much because I am going to have a lot of room. Mat pocket here on the back of the seat. Automatic windows here in the back. A little bit of leather here on the armrest, and same soft touch plastics here on the door. A little bit of speaker here, but that's about it for the back seat. We have little lights above. Oh, let's not forget about the armrest. What couple cup holders in here, and then we have a pass through. But that's about it for the back seat. Let's get into the trunk. Trunk is not automated. It does have the creeper hatch here, so you know if you're tied up in this trunk. Now it's a big trunk. I don't think it's quite as big as my 2004 Avalon. That car is legendary for having like the world's largest trunk, other than maybe like a Lincoln Town Country. Nice little Avalon mat. Here are your normal cloth mats. But we have a little light in here with a very interesting little cover there, but nothing special for the back. I'm used to seeing the Lexus first aid kit over here, but it's large, and it's gonna be large, and plenty large enough for most of you people out there. And we're off. I can't wait to drive this and kind of give you my impressions. The 2004 Avalon's been my daily driver for 3 years, about 3 years now, maybe a little bit less. It's about 2.5, close enough. And that's kind of what I'm going to pit this car against, as well as the Lexus ES. I can already tell you it's not nearly as quiet as the ES, which I don't really expect most cars, especially if they're not luxury cars, to even come close. That car's on like kind of a pedestal when it comes to quiet. Now the steering wheel doesn't quite feel the same as the Lexus as well with the wood steering wheel, but I don't mind it. Don't mind it at all. Visibility is pretty good. I feel like it's better in the Lexus. Speaking of the ES, I have one right in front of me. Now this has the same exact motor and transmission as the Lexus ES of this time period. 268 horsepower with a silky smooth 6-speed transmission. The ride is a little bit more firm than the ES, as well as there's definitely more engine noise. When I got into the throttle there, I heard more engine noise than what I do in the Lexus vehicles, which some people might like it. Some people like to have a nice quiet ride, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, either. Just it's all about personal preference. I have a green arrow here. There's no one in front of me, so I'm going to put this engine to the test just a little bit. No, I'm not, because there's a semi in front of me now, but it feels almost exactly the same in terms of acceleration as the Lexus counterpart to this, the ES350. It's very, very quick to shift. The shifts are very quick, especially when you're downshifting. And I should have set my mirrors before I got onto the highway, but that's okay. The engine noise still, even though it's a little bit louder than the Lexus, it's still not bad at all. It's still pretty quiet in here when I get into the throttle. space. I feel like I have a lot of space, maybe even more than the ES. And if that is the case, if I do have more space in the ES, it's probably because there's so much more insulation and thicker materials on the interior and exterior of the ES. But I'm going to go ahead and get into the throttle to see how responsive this transmission and engine is. It's about the same. It's about the same. I mean, I would have to drive these cars back to back to really figure out if there's really any difference. The fuel economy in this car is going to be good. Really good for a pretty powerful V6 and a large sedan. Average fuel economy is 27 is what this car is getting. Now that I'm on the highway, it says I'm getting upper 20s most of the time or low 30s, just depending on how hard I'm pushing into the throttle. I'm going about 60 and I'm getting about 30 miles per gallon, which is really good. Of course, the hybrid version of this is going to be the way to go for not acceleration, but for fuel economy. I would assume just like the ES, this thing would probably get around 40 miles per gallon, whereas the new Avalon, the 2019 Avalon, the 2019 Lexus ES, I think they get 30 or 43 and 44 respectively miles per gallon, which is like 3 or 4 miles per gallon than the previous model, which is just crazy because they have more power. This car has good power. I don't think I would want any more power or need any more power in this. You know, I would, for me, if I was getting the Avalon again or an ES, it would be the hybrid, no doubt. You know, you get about 60% better fuel economy. Like, that's just crazy. And that's in the city. On the highway, it's probably going to be more like, you know, 20 to 30% better fuel economy, but that's still really, really, really good for a sedan. It is pretty quiet in here, I'm not gonna lie. It is very quiet. I'd say it's a little bit more quiet than my 2004 Avalon, and just a tad louder than the Lexus ES. How it feels out here going about 65 miles per hour, it's very smooth. It's not quite as road noise free or as floaty feeling as the Lexus ES, but it's still a really, really good driving and riding experience, and I'd still give it an A overall. I definitely do feel a little bit more bumps in the road, and the ride quality, it's good, it's really good, don't get me wrong. It's not nearly as, like I said, smooth or as buttery. You feel a little bit more of the vibration from the road compared to the Lexus ES. Here on the braking test, A+. A+ brakes. They do kind of hit a little bit of a hard wall, but it progresses past that pretty quick. It's not as smooth and progressive as a Lexus brake, but I'm not expecting it to be quite as refined as that. The brakes, I would give it an A+, and even my 2004 Avalon, the brakes in that car are really good. For the size of the vehicle, in my opinion. The brake pedal and the brake feel is really, really responsive and linear. But we're into the handling portion of this test, and this car already handles miles and miles above my 2004 flying carpet. Now, let's push it a little bit harder here in the hairpin. Feels just like the ES in terms of handling. Just like the ES, which is great, which is a good thing. The ES isn't the most impressive handling car, but it holds its own. Yeah, this car feels great. No issues with it in the corners. Very, very confidence inspiring, very smooth, and it accelerates well out of the turns for a front wheel drive car. We're coming up on the lake, guys. There's a couple guys in a boat doing some fishing. This dog just finished taking a shit, excuse my language, and he's kicking grass over it. But we're gonna finish our review here, and this car is exactly what I expected it to be. I am not surprised really in any way, and I'm not disappointed in any way. It's funny that, you know, I kind of knew exactly what this car was all about before getting in it. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. But let's go ahead and finish up this review. That sums it up for the review of the 2016 Toyota Avalon. I'd love to get my hands on a 2019 and drive that around, but I know it's not going to drive much differently than the 2019 Lexus ES, because it is a very similar car. And we have this huge lawnmower going off right beside me, as you guys can see. But I'm sure you guys can still hear me fairly well because I'm yelling. And this car, to sum it up, is exactly what I expected it to be. It's a great all-rounder, lots of space, good materials, not exceptional. If you want the exceptional materials, hop into an ES version, or the Lexus ES, I should say. Good power, transmission is an A, brakes are an A. This 3.5 liter V6, grade A. And this car is gonna run till the end of time as long as you just change the oil on it. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I think they've done a great job to refine this vehicle from my 2004 Toyota Avalon. I'll see you guys in the comments below, and I'll see you in the upcoming videos on my channel. Peace.